at last week was, what if you had this long polynomial and you wanted to sketch it? So if you wanted to sketch it, you'd have to break it down. So what we did is we had something like x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14, and we said you probably want to divide it by a polynomial, right? The polynomials that you would divide it by would be something like x. Well, would x make sense? No, because of this 4. But maybe it would be an x minus 2, or an x minus 1, or an x plus 1, or x minus 2. Let me give you this certainty right now. In this class, you'll never have to guess. Did you in higher algebra have to guess what to divide by? Did you do that last year? Yeah, we don't do that here. I'll give you all the clues to get started, but you have to know what to do with it. So I'm going to tell you that one of the factors is x minus 2. So let's talk about that real quick. A factor is if you went x minus 2 equals 0, it's this thing together would equal 0. What would the x be in order to make this happen? Add 2, yeah. Isn't that cool? So this is called the root. It's the x value that makes this go to 0 to get an x-intercept. X minus 2 is the factor that, if you divided it out, would give you a root that you could find that would set that equal to 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a given, what's this x minus 2? Root or factor? Factor, very good. And then we're going to divide it out. So here goes. X minus 2, we're going to divide just like we divide anything else. X goes into x times x squared gives you x cubed. So x times x squared is x cubed minus 2x squared. All right, I'm afraid that's a little tiny, so I'm going to make it a little bigger here. X cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14, x minus 2. And so we said if we multiply by x, you'll get x cubed minus 2x, wait a minute, x squared. We get to square that. X cubed minus 2x squared. All right, now, what do you do with these two x cubes? Add them? If you added them, it would be a mess, wouldn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to add the opposite, but you have to do it to both. So make sure you do it to both here. Take the opposite of each one. Now when I take x cubed, reduce it by x cubed, I get 0, and I get 4x squared plus 2x squared is 6x squared. Bring down the negative 5x, make these a little darker here. 6x squared minus 5x. Now x times what is 6x squared? 6x. So now 6x times x is 6x squared. This is going to reduce nice. 6x times 2 is negative 12x. Now we need to get rid of this again. So we need 6x squared, we need to subtract, but do it to both. This one and this one. And so we're going to get 6x squared minus 6x squared is 0. Negative 5x plus 12x, yay, 7x. Now bring this 14 down, negative 14 down. And so we have x times what is 7x? 7, yeah, plus 7. So now you get 7x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. And now when we do the opposite, and we do it to both, we're going to get 0. Now, what does it mean if you get 0? It factors. It factors great. Okay? So what we get for an answer here is, this is the part that's kind of drives people crazy a little bit, is that this thing is equal to, this polynomial is equal to x minus 2 times x squared plus 6x plus 7. How would you factor this x squared plus 6x plus 7? How would you factor that? Sam, what do you think? How would you factor this guy here, x squared plus 6x plus 7? What would you do with that? I mean, what technique? Anybody can help them out? But I mean, we could quadratic or we could do anything. So once we get it down to squared, we're good to go. All right, this is annoying, isn't it? Long division. But sometimes we have to do it. If you see like a squared here or cubed, and you can't just put i's, and you can't do synthetic. But most of the time, we're going to be able to do synthetic. And synthetic is going to be your new favorite way to divide. What you do is take the coefficients of the polynomial you start with, okay, which will be 1, 4, 5, and negative 14. I think this is negative 5. Okay? And you're going to do three things. You're going to drop, multiply, and add. Drop, multiply, and add. Sounds like something from the 50s. And so you're going to drop this 1 down, and then you're going to multiply 2 times 1, and then you're going to add 4 plus 2 is 6. You multiply, 2 times 6 is 12. By the way, does that 12 look familiar? You add those up, 12 minus 5 is 7, and then multiply, 2 times 7 is 14. What's negative 14 plus 14? 0. So this means it factors out. Notice that this answer is going to be your x squared, x to the 1, x to the 0. This is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 7. And that's how you do long division and how you do the synthetic. Now, just a quick little thing here. The polynomial p of x, that's the whole big thing. X cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x minus 14. The d of x is what you're dividing by. That's your x minus 2. The quotient is what you got for an answer. X squared plus 6x plus 7, and my remainder was 0 for this one. All right, go down to, quickly, go to day 1, and let's do this one, 1 and 2 right now with long division. So I'm going to just do, this is a quick overview of number 1. We just did this one. We divided x minus 3 into this polynomial. So what I did is I took 4x times x, 4x squared, minus 12x, took the opposite, added, you get 15x, drop the negative 1, and you'll get x times 15 for that. Now, here's the part I want you to deal with. This is actually the hardest part of this. This part is kind of easy. What is the answer for this? 4x squared plus 3x minus 1. What is that even equal to? So let's do this first. If I took 21 and divided by 4, how many times is 21 going to, or 4 going to 21 without going over? What's that? 5. So do you agree that this is 5 times 4 plus what? What's the remainder? 1. So one way you can show this is to say, all right, what was this quotient? And this quotient is x minus 3 times 4x plus 15. But when we have a remainder, we just add that like that. And we had 44 for this one. So would you write this thing equals this, x minus 3 times the quotient plus 44? Now some students get a little confused about this. I thought the remainder was 44 over x minus 3. And yes, you're right, if you were looking for this. Okay? If we divide everything by x minus 3, you're going to get this 4x squared plus 3x minus 1 over x minus 3, similar to 21 over 4, okay, is going to be equal to 4x plus 15 plus 44 over x minus 3. So these are two forms for the same answer, but they really come from this blue form. Is you have the polynomial as the quotient times the divisor plus the remainder. And if you want to, you can divide by that divisor for everything and you'll get that. But I think that's kind of weird at first, but we're going to get it. All right, next. Let's do number 2 here and get that answer. So you have 2x cubed minus, I'm going to go plus 0 minus x plus 1. And you're going to divide it by x squared plus x plus 1. A really challenging long division. But we can do it. X squared times what is 2x cubed? 2x. Perfect. So you're going to get 2x cubed plus 2x squared plus 2x. Okay, and now we have 3 of these to take the opposite of. And so you get 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. 0 minus 2x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative x minus 2x is negative 3x. Drop the 1. So x squared times what is negative 2x squared? X squared times what? Negative 2 is it. So it'll be negative 2x squared plus 2x plus 2. Oops, is it negative 2 though? Got to get that right. Negative 2x, negative 2. So then when you take the opposite of that, you're going to get 0 minus x plus 3. What is negative x plus 3? What is it? This whole thing is the remainder, but it looks weird, doesn't it? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to write this out. 2x cubed minus x plus 1. That's going to be equal to x squared plus x plus 1 times 2x minus 2. And then plus, what's the remainder? Negative x plus 3. Okay, so this is my polynomial. This here is my divisor. This is my answer, the quotient. Then this is my remainder. Fun stuff. And then you don't have to do this, but you might see this as 2x cubed minus x plus 1 over x squared plus x plus 1. And if you divide it by that, you're going to get 2x minus 2 plus negative x plus 3 over x squared plus x plus 1. This is an alternate way of showing it, but it's the same as this. Just doing a little algebra.